Hey there everybody, Vash here, and welcome to a top 10 video. 2023 has come to an end, and I cannot believe how stacked this year in gaming was. Unreal, man. This is the first time I'm ever doing a top 10 video about my top 10 games of the year, but I felt like it was necessary, especially with my big push here on my channel. And I've just always wanted to make a top 10 video, so here I am today sharing with you my opinion on what the top 10 games were this year. Now, of course, remember, this is my list. This is how I felt. These are the games that spoke to me this year. I'm sure your list is just as good. Leave it in the comments if you like, and I'd love to check it out and see what other people think are the top 10 games this year, because it was a huge year. I don't know if the format's going to change much in the future when it comes to these top 10 lists. This is my first time doing it, like I said, so bear with me, but hopefully you enjoy. I hope I can put a little bit of personality in there and not make it too boring. But alright, let's go ahead and get into it. Oh, and by the way, just giving you a warning now, all the games that I'm going to talk about in this video, I'll show them first, but there will be spoilers, so be warned when I show a game in one of the numbers. If it hasn't been a game you played, I might talk about spoilers, so yeah, there's your warning. Vash's top 10 list of video games in 2023. The best games. Here we go. Kicking off our list at number 10 is Final Fantasy 16. This game has so many memories for me already just with it coming out this year, but it's another Final Fantasy title that I will continue to remember for years and years to come. I'm a huge fan of Yoshi P and his work with the Final Fantasy 14 team. I've been playing Final Fantasy 14 for about 10 years now, maybe a little bit more than that. And just the captivating story of Final Fantasy 14, especially Shadowbringers, just got me really excited for this title. I think when they first showcased the characters and they first showcased the icons, I was a little skeptical. I'm gonna be honest. I think the icon battles, I've played plenty of games that have had those kind of big boss battle scenarios, and they kind of take you out of it in a little bit. Especially whenever you're watching it, if you're watching a trailer and you're just seeing these big enemies attack each other in a cutscene, a glorified cutscene, a gameplay cutscene, if you will. But that is not the case with Final Fantasy 16. These icon battles are the pinnacle of excitement, and just you're sitting there awestruck with your jaw slacked, and you're like, is this really happening right now? Are you really fighting as this big Ifrit behemoth against Titan or against Bahamut? It's unreal. You throw it back, boom! Is that just sitting on his like little tentacle thing? Oh shit! Bro, Ifrit's broken. Boom! Boom! Blow him up. Big hit. Oh, charge it up. Boom! Now, with all this praise, you might be thinking, why do I have it at number 10? And the reason is the game's not perfect. No game is perfect. There's always issues. And I felt like my issues with this game were a lot more harsh than other people's might have with it. I just found myself not really enjoying the lows of the game. They're pinnacle, very high peaks of the game, like the icon battles and any interaction with Clive and Sid and all of their issues with the world and Ultima. But there are a lot of lows, a lot of really low points where I found myself just wanting to get to the next part. I would have side missions that just didn't really like do it for me, and it wasn't too exciting. But I don't want to go on and on about all the downsides to this game, because it is in my top 10 of this year. But I do find that it could have been even more than that. It really does show that the team from Final Fantasy 14 worked on this game. It's an MMO team, so you do get that feeling from the game at certain points where you have to do fetch quests or you have to go kill certain enemies and come back. And there's a lot of downtime that could have probably been cleaned up a bit. But all in all, Ben Starr has really proven himself to be a formidable voice actor. He was nominated for one of the best voices this year, and his performance as Clive was life-changing. It was just unreal to hear that that just gut-wrenching sound that came from his being, you know?
Stop it! Take your hands off my brother!
Help me! Help me, Clive!
Joshua! Stop it! Stop it! I swore I would protect him! Joshua! No! Murderer. I'll kill you! I'll fucking kill you!
Oh my god, every time I listen to that, I just it makes me feel his anguish. And I want to say Ben Starr, like, one of the main reasons why this game made the list was just that character of Clive. You really made it your own. And Clive's journey as a character was just stellar. It was just a wonderful, beautiful tragedy. I think the world itself is constantly in disarray, and there's so much sadness in the world that we are in for Final Fantasy 16. And I just think that it probably, for me myself, I probably would have put it higher on the list if we had a little bit of joy, if we had a little bit of fun. Where's my chocobo racing, and where's my balloon popping, and where's my underwater theatrics, or my theater plays, all of that. I just needed a little bit more happiness and beach episode. Yes, I needed a beach episode for Final Fantasy 16 for me to put it any higher. But all in all, the game is spectacular. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful experience. The combat's great, and I recommend it. Make your own opinion, but it sits here at number 10. It's Saturday. Hurry on down to your TV and catch the latest episode of Chai and Friends as they tackle on the evil corporation. Don't miss out on this week's episode. It's gonna be a killer. Yeah, that's it. At number 9, we have Hi-Fi Rush. What a game, and what an amazing experience it was being at the launch of that game. It was a shadow drop for all things. No one really knew anything about it. It just kind of came out of nowhere, and it took the world by storm, myself included. I was completely enamored with it as soon as I launched it on Xbox Game Pass, which is another huge sell for me. I have Game Pass, and I've got an Xbox and PC, so I was able to play between the two freely and easily. It was it's such a wonderful game. The art style is masterclass. If you take a look at this beautiful game, you've got a mixture of Spider-Verse styled frame rate-ish kind of thing going on, and the same cozy, comfy Saturday morning cartoon kind of feel from it too. It's really enjoyable. It's immersive, and the really fun thing about it is that it is a rhythm-based game. You play as Chai, voiced by Robbie Damon, who he did an amazing job. Amazing, perfect, happy-go-lucky protagonist character for this Saturday morning cartoon game. And he wants to be a rock star. The world itself that they give us is very high-tech. There's a mixture of prosthetics and all these different elements that let the world come alive in a way that you would expect of this kind of cartoony atmosphere. Whoa! Get him! We can change the future together!
You got a killer track.
The one-liner!
But every song's gotta end.
We got an actual guitar now. Boom! But yes, it is a rhythm game. There are elements that are entirely embedded in the source code, in the live stream of this game. Everything is based off of rhythm. The environment moves to the rhythm. The gameplay and the combat is all based on your inputs and how well you can time your attacks to the beat of the song that's around you. Chai is implemented with this MP3 player or this futuristic Walkman, whatever you want to call it, and it is his rhythm. It's what he listens to when you're playing in the game, and I could not believe how much fun it was to just dive into this random shadow dropped game on Game Pass, and it was an experience that I was so glad to be there for on launch day. Boom! Wow, that was so cool.
Bring it on.
The whole cast of characters are really, really memorable and fun. You've got Chai, you've got Peppermint, you've got 808, and Cinnamon. Oh my god, I loved Cinnamon so much. Those little elements that they would do where you have a robot, but he would mess with his expression by just quickly drawing on his face, and it would swap over to a different expression or however he was feeling in that moment. It's really, really cool and very, very unique. Of course, as all things are, there were some drawbacks for me, and that's why it's a little bit lower on my list. I wasn't really a big fan of the momentum in the platforming of the game. Chai had this weird thing where he would kind of stop moving forward when you jumped. Like, he would still go a bit forward, but it would really kill your movement, and I wasn't a big fan of that. I really wish they would have fixed that. And also, Erica Linebeck's an amazing voice actress. I think she's done amazing work in some of my favorite games. But I'm getting a little tired of hearing her as the angry, side protagonist or a co-protagonist to the game, like we've gotten in a couple of other games that have come out in the past. And I just wasn't really vibing with that whole aspect. I'm glad that it eased up as time went on, but it was not to my taste having Chai be so happy and carefree, and it was constantly being put down by Peppermint. But she comes around, and I think all in all, it put Chai in line, and it made him realize that things were serious at times, all that stuff. But minor complaints aside, I just think that the game had that spark and that longevity. You can play this game today. You can play it in 5 years, 10 years, and I think it'd equally be as enjoyable. I could give this to my great-great-grandson, and he'd have a blast with it. The game offers a lot of extra content as well after you beat the game. If you're a completionist, there's plenty for you to go after with the big mural. I thought that was such a really, really fun and cool way of incorporating more achievement hunting, and then also just completionist aspects where you're rewarded in a way where your hideout or your den has a big mural of all the characters and all the different wacky moments in the world that you're in. And it was a really, really well done system to keep the player engaged, keep them wanting to come back and do more. And then the tower too, like you have the gauntlet of different waves of enemies that you would go through in the tower, and it was just a really, really good time. I think it was a little bit of a letdown that you could change your appearance after you beat the game. I kind of wish that was stuff you could unlock as you played, because it's really, really cool, but I feel like a lot of players might have overlooked it when they beat the game and put the game down. They probably wouldn't have experienced a lot of those extra outfits, unfortunately. There's a lot of elements going for Hi-Fi Rush that made it stand out, and I think in a year of nothing but knockout hits for the most part, nothing but knockout hits. In a year of games that are just so stacked and so many amazing experiences, I'm just glad that I was able to put this on my list. It deserves it. It's a wonderful time. I really implore you to go try it yourself if you haven't. It is on Game Pass, and it goes for relatively cheap these days since it's been out for a while. So yeah, just pick it up, give it a shot. But Hi-Fi Rush is at number 9. Snap. Snap. All right, yeah. He's getting the... Ooh! I can't really snap with my left finger, my left hand too much. Like, I can make it happen, but it's not... Next up on our list is a game that took me by surprise. It just came out of nowhere, similar to Hi-Fi Rush, but in its own unique and interesting way. This was a game that came out later in the year, and I just can't stop playing it. I'm still playing it to this day. It's a game that has reconnected me with old friends, new friends. It's set up new experiences and new memories to be shared with them. I've been just having a total blast with it. And in case you're wondering, what game am I talking about? What is it? I think we just need to go and hit quota.
Welcome to your first day on the job. This is your very own autopilot ship, where you will eat and sleep for the duration of your contract. Make yourself at home. To complete the onboarding process, you will want to check the instruction manual and sign into your ship's computer terminal. We trust you will be a great asset to the company. Great asset to the company. Great asset to the company. Great asset.
Have you ever had a game come out and it just hits you right down to the core and makes you remember why you love video games in the first place? Lethal Company is a game that did just that for me. Like other games, you know, there's To the Moon, for example. That game's amazing and it's such a wonderful game. Undertale is another one that came out and just took the whole world by storm with its wonderful message and its wonderful music. Lethal Company is in that same boat for me when it comes to how it's just transformed beyond being a simple game and something that can be enjoyed for years and years to come. It reminds me a lot of when Among Us hit or when Phasmophobia came out. It's a game of the unknown at first. When you're first playing and you jump in, you don't know anything about the game. It's just what are the monsters? What do they do? What are the worlds? Why are we collecting all this scrap? What are we doing? And to me, it's just none of that really matters. There's no story to the game. There's no voice acting beyond what you hear in the announcements. None of that's present here. It's just an organically fun experience that is even more so amplified with friends to go along for the ride with you. In Lethal Company, all you have to do really is go into each planet and find the facility where there's a bunch of scrap, a bunch of human objects that the wonderful overlords, the tentacle overlords that we've never met or seen, they need the scrap for whatever reason. So we are going, you do your job, and you go and collect all this scrap for our overlord friends. It seems simple enough, but when you mesh together the excitement of the unknown, the randomly generated worlds and maps that you're sent to with your friends, the ever-changing facilities and all the objects and monsters that are inside, all of these things come together to create a perfect storm of a really, really fun time with friends. I've had some wonderful memories already made and some amazing laughs. Got me. Oh, the creepy crawly's going with the slide. Who the fuck cheeks are those?
Oh no! Okay, we gotta go.
This door's locked. Oh, we're done for. We're done.
He's pulling up! He's pulling up! He's pulling up!
Oh shit! Did I outplay him? Holy shit, dude! What do I do? He's stuck right there. Why is he spring loaded? Bro. Alright, I'm running. I'm running. I'm dead. God damn it, dude. The wild thing about Lethal Company is that all of this was created by one person. By a person named Zeekers online, and they have been pushing out even now updates for the game. We just got a winter update, and it's just so incredible to see how one person can put out a passion project and it can reach so many people. Lethal Company has been everywhere. It's on TikTok, it's on Twitter, it's everywhere. And it just goes to show that it doesn't matter about how much money you got backed in your game, how many years or how much experience you have as a developer, what kind of music or what kind of artists are working on your game. All of that, it's just things that you aspire to obtain or are definitely helpful. But when you've got somebody with a passion and you've got a message or you've got a feeling of wanting to share with the world your art, it's nothing stopping you, you know? You just gotta put yourself out there, put out what you want to put out, and if it hits, it hits, cool. If it doesn't, then, you know, be proud of what you've accomplished and move on. And I feel like this is just another one of those amazing stories for the indie community when you've got a person who puts out this project and it reaches so many people. Lethal Company is a wonderful game. It's really, really fun. It's in that horror genre. It definitely gets a little bit spooky, especially in the earlier days whenever you first start playing. But yeah, if you haven't played it yet, definitely check it out. It's so cheap on Steam. It's like $10, maybe less right now. It's actually up for Game of the Year on Steam as well, or it got nominated at least, which is very well deserved. But it has a spot here on my list at number 8, and I couldn't be happier about it. Yeah, give me that little middle tray.
The slime is approaching.
I got something too ready.
That was perfect timing. That was perfect timing, dude. My eyes.
Okay, number seven. Oh, yeah, that's 19 inches, all right. 19 inches of Venom. Oh man, yeah, Spider-Man, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 makes it to number 7 on my list, and what a game. I had such a good time playing through this game, and I had a unique experience with Spider-Man 2 because I played through all of it in co-op.
What the fuck? We can parry in this game?
Yeah, we can parry.
Hell yeah.
Here, look, I'll show you.
How you do it?
Okay, you gotta like, oh, okay, not like that. I can't parry that. Hold on, wait. Boom. Okay, I listen. I hit the wrong button. I hit L2. I forgot. Give me a second. Give me a second. Shut up! Don't look at me that way.
Bro, in this universe, this fucking meme is real.
This is the song.
Look!
Oh, don't go.
Oh my god! Fucking Venom! This meme,
dude.
this could actually happen in this universe.
That's true.
They're playing hoops. A buddy of mine came over to visit for a month, and in that month was when Spider-Man had launched, so we had a really fun idea to try to tackle the game as both Spider-Man. And the way we did that was anytime the game had a section for Peter, then I would play, and anytime there was a section for Miles, he would play. And it was actually really, really fun. I think that it just goes to show how Insomniac handled the two Spider-Man really, really well, because we were able to have a fun and balanced experience and being able to swap between them when it mattered, especially in the big set pieces. Even that opening sequence with Sandman, it was so immersive and engaging, just being able to toss the controller back and forth. We actually played through the entire game and got the Platinum Trophy on my stream, so quick plug, but I do stream over at twitch.tv/Vash, so if you ever want to catch me live playing any future games, be sure to go over there and follow the channel and check me out sometime. Anyway, back to Spider-Man 2. This game was a marvel, to say the least. The PS5 was at its full limits here with what they were able to do. Insomniac once again was able to handle the Spider-Man property with such grace and such elegance, having the world feel even more immersive this time around. New York City has never looked so good. The PS5 really pushed it to its capabilities where the town felt so alive. You could sit on a lamppost or sit on a corner of a building and just watch all these cars go by, watch all these moments in people's lives as they went throughout the town, and it just really felt like you were in a live, bustling city. The combat is as fun as ever, very addictive and very engaging. I had so much fun as Peter playing through the game and having my Venom suit, having my Venom abilities and also anti-Venom abilities towards the end. But I will say, whenever I was watching my friend play as Miles, Miles seems pretty overpowered. He was pretty strong, but it was really fun to see the two different play styles come into play whenever we were going through the game. I found that myself playing as Peter, I was very aggressive. I was in people's face, moving around, dodging all the time. Whereas my friend Stellar would play as Miles, and he would have the invisibility, and he would be able to set up all these different takedowns with his electricity. And it was just really cool to see how the both Spider-Men would tackle certain fights in different ways, and also with different players. It's not an experience you would expect, but hey, it's out there. I've done it. It's really fun. I recommend it. And moving past the whole co-op aspect that I gave myself, the game just does the world and the character so much justice. And also Venom. We have to talk about Venom. Seeing the iconic character come to life in the game was just outstanding. It was so awesome, especially on the big reveal where you finally get to experience Venom rip through the facility that he's in. I'm trying not to spoil too much just in case, but overall Venom was really, really well done. I think that his animosity and his effect on the user, whoever was wearing the suit, was really, really well done in this game, especially when the suit and the symbiote was on Peter.
He's never like that.
Uh-oh, dude, it's getting bad. He's gonna get rowdy, bro.
Is in the Upper West Side sewers.
MJ's gonna call and be like, "What, bitch? Leave me alone with my work."
Hey, any luck at Connor's house?
No, but tracking him right now.
What's wrong?
Nothing.
Meaning something.
Miles was off his game. We almost had Lizard.
I'm sure he was just trying to help.
Miles also had some great moments with Mr. Lee, Mr. Negative, that is, and his character and his Spider-Man is really coming into his own, even from Miles Morales' standalone title, all the way to here. Miles has just become such a wonderful and awesome character to follow through. And he is Spider-Man. He's here to play, he's here to conquer, and he did an amazing job at actually helping one of his old villains, one of his like mortal enemies, turn a new leaf. It was unreal to see Miles come through like that. Peter hasn't had a chance to do that at all, really. The gadget wheel is gone in this game, and I know that some people might be missing it. I did miss it as well. I found myself going through some of the fights with the same repetitions. I would have the same abilities on deck. I would have the same kind of idea of what I wanted to do. And at the end of the day, I do think that the combat maybe wasn't as freeform as it could have been. It's still really, really fun. Don't get me wrong. You're Spider-Man. You're going around webbing people down, spreading out the battlefield, and just taking control of the situation with relative ease. But I do miss the more freeform and unique aspect of the gadget wheel and how you were able to tackle different fights in different ways depending on what gadgets you had available and what powers you had available too. In this game, it's a little bit more streamlined. You have cooldowns and you've got abilities you choose, and it's not terrible. It's pretty fun, but it definitely could have used a little bit more variety, I think. The story is really, really touching, especially if you have that sort of connection with friends or with family or with people that you grew up with. I think the story between Peter and MJ and Miles and Harry and even Mr. Osborn, all of them. Norman is a very, very hurt character throughout this game and at the very end of it. And I really, really can't wait to see what more Insomniac has for us when we move on to the future of Spider-Man 2's DLC or any other titles they move into. I want to say one of the low points in this is probably the side quests. I think that a lot of the stuff isn't really as enjoyable or as much as I would have expected from a bigger New York. I kind of wanted a little bit more of that Spider-Man aspect, but Howard and the birds, that one got me. That one's such a good one. There are good side quests in this. I'm just saying that the overall bigger side quests, like with Yuri and stuff, it just felt very, simple, and you kind of knew what was going to happen, what was going down, and maybe not the strongest point. The MJ sections are back, and yes, I was not a fan of the MJ sections in the first game. This one's not as bad because MJ is Metal Gear Solid this time around. She's got a gun, a very, very overpowered gun that was able to take down enemies that Spider-Man was having trouble with. It's a little interesting how things play out, but it's a game, that's the way I treat it. You don't have an Avengers game where you have Thor, he can just kill everything in one hit. Like, it's a video game. You got to make it make sense, or make it have some longevity. But yeah, MJ's back. I think that her sections weren't as bad, but I still feel that her story, while it did take a twist that I was not expecting, I still think that the forced extra stuff probably isn't the best when it comes to my overall enjoyment of this game. Even still, Spider-Man 2 lives up to the hype of a sequel. It's very, very similar to how I felt leaving God of War Ragnarok. where you have a first really solid game, and the second game, while it capitalizes on it and offers more and does more, it still suffers from the sequelitis in a way. That's why I have it here at number 7. It's an amazing game. It's very fun. It was a spectacular time, if you will. It just wasn't as ambitious as I wanted it to be, but that's totally fine. It's a great game, and I am happy to place it here at number 7.
Can you hear me? Geppetto's puppet. We need your help.
After years and years of success with From Software making Dark Souls games and the Souls-like genre such a huge and critically acclaimed success, you find other studios trying to catch that same fire, try to catch that same spark. There's been a lot of different studios who've tried their hand at this formula of this Souls-like, this Dark Souls entity that From Software has captivated the entire gaming community with, and a lot of them fall short. They're not terrible games, they're not easily dismissible. Some of them do have their fan bases and all of that, but they don't really quite reach the highs or the same caliber of quality that the Dark Souls games offer. I was pleasantly surprised when I got to finally get my chance of playing Lies of P. All the way back from when the first trailer was shown, I was instantly captivated by this artistic and throwback style, the steampunk era of a story surrounding Pinocchio and Geppetto's puppet. Not long after, a demo did release and I was able to play through it, and I was just captivated. It did have some shortcomings. I think the dodging specifically was something that I was a little hesitant about, as well as a lot of other people. But overall, the game's presentation, the music, the style, all of it, it was just so wonderful. It captured that essence of intrigue and wonder and mystique that the Dark Souls games capture so well. Now, over the years, there's been a lot of different Pinocchio takes. Guillermo del Toro made his own Pinocchio. We've had a lot of Pinocchio in the past couple years. I'm not sure why, but here we are again in Lies of P, where you play as Geppetto's puppet. And right off the bat, you're very intrigued. Are you Pinocchio? It's Lies of P, Lies of Pinocchio. Even the loading screen says now lying instead of now loading. There's a mechanic in the game where you can choose to lie to certain characters or certain scenarios, and you jump back and forth between wanting to be like a puppet, where you cannot tell lies, or you want your humanity. You want to gain humanity from lying, because humans lie. And robots don't, apparently, but some robots do. The story is where the game captures you the most, alongside the music. Both of those elements are really strong and prevalent in this game. And overall, Lies of P is just a Dark Souls game made by another developer that actually makes it happen. Speaking of the developer, Neowitz is, fairly new on the scene. They're not a standout AAA studio, which I feel is one of the reasons why I was a little upset that Lies of P got snubbed at the Game Awards on a lot of different awards. It deserved more. But overall, I think the fans are definitely clamoring to this style of game by Neowitz. And the overall style of how you play, how you fight against these Grandmaster puppets, these robots, all of them, it's really well done, and it's crafted in a way where it's Dark Souls-esque, but you've got the flair of what Lies of P has to offer. Right off the bat, you can already tell that the gameplay is going to offer something different because you've got a mechanical arm on the puppet. The main playable character is something that is a mystery of himself. I know a lot of people compared him to Timothée Chalamet, so if they make a Lies of P movie, we've got our main character already, I'm sure. I think that would be pretty cool, actually. But besides that, there's a bunch of mystique when it comes to why you're progressing through the game. One of the things that really stood out to me is they capture the essence of how Dark Souls are able to tell their stories through their characters, through small dialogue, through inventory items, all of that. But Lies of P kind of takes it in another step where we have those elements, but we also have more direct communication through characters, more direct storylines that coexist in a way that's a little bit more easy to follow along with. And on top of that, you've got an overarching story with the playable character who we find out is Carlo, the best friend to Romeo, and there's just so much to the story that plays out after the fact and before the fact. There's so many parts in the game where you're like, whoa, this is characters from over here, and this person's not actually who they say they are. There's so many elements that make you captivated in the world, and we're not even talking about the bosses and the combat yet. The combat in this game is really, really punishing, as you would expect from a Souls-like game, and I think that this game offers the eloquence of having boss battles that are punishing and demanding and very, very tough, but you have a lot of variety and capability with weapons and styles to weapons and the arm that you have equipped at the time, because you can get multiple upgrades in different arm types to play to your playstyle the way you would want. There's also vulnerabilities with fire damage or corrosive damage. You've got all these different elements that play into the character and your playstyle and what kind of weapon fits with the type of swing depending on the handle that you're using compared to the weapon itself. That was another feature that was so surprising to me that wasn't really showcased too much in the demo. It was there, but you can mix and match your weapons. You can have the handle of a longsword, but then it would be a dagger at the top, so then it would become more of like a spear. And it was such a unique and fun experience mix and matching all these weapons and trying to find your favorite. Beyond that, there is so many wonderful moments in the game where you are on a quest or you are on a mission to help a character or doing a side quest in some way, and you're rewarded with either certain souls, or it's called ergo in this game, or you're rewarded with sometimes even vinyl LP songs. And the music in this game is phenomenal. It is one of my favorite soundtracks this year, and my favorite song of this year is from this game. It's called Feel, and I want to play a little bit of it for you guys so you can hear just how haunting and melodic and just wonderful this piece of music is. It's one of the first missions in the game, and it sounds just so surreal, and it really puts you in that mindset of this disparity in this world.
Close your eyes, come to me, feel alright, just dance with me all through the night, turn it out, close to you, I feel good, 'cause I just know feeling of you, give it to me baby, feel alright, I feel good, just want you step with me, dance with me, here with me, feel alright, I feel good.
Honestly, listening to that song just on YouTube, and I think it's not quite on Spotify yet, but I hope they put the LP versions of the vinyl versions of the songs on Spotify. But man, that song, it's just so captivating. All in all, Lies of P just really hits and succeeds and nails that essence, that formula of Dark Souls, and it's finally here. There's another Dark Souls-like game that is equally as enjoyable. Honestly, it's probably one of my favorite Dark Souls-like games, even more so than some of the other ones like 2 and 3. I think Lies of P ranks up there alongside Bloodborne, Dark Souls 1, and even Elden Ring. Like, all of those combined, they're just wonderful experiences if you love that genre. So if you have not played Liza P, give it a chance. It is on Game Pass. I'm not sponsored by Game Pass, I know I bring it up, but it's just such a big selling point for me as well, because I get to play these games and I don't have to run that risk. For example, like Lords of the Fallen, my brother bought that and then he returned it soon after because it was just not great. I find myself sitting here wanting to go back to the Krot, wanting to go back to Hotel Krot, to go to the different alternative endings. There are multiple endings in the game. There are different routes you can take if you want to go for the more humanity aspect, if you want to go for the good ending, you want to go for the bad ending. All these different scenarios play out to lead to awesome replays that they all feel different. And just that world, the music and the characters and the boss battles, all of it, it's just so fun. Probably my biggest complaint, if I had to throw one in here, is a lot of the bosses do have multiple phases. There's some spectacular bosses here.
Yo, she looks fucking cool, dude. Who is this? Good luck. Oh no.
Your sword, Vexasia, swears to protect this tower.
Damn, that looks fucking cool, dude. What the fuck is going on? Oh shit. Okay. Oh shit.
But there's also some bosses that are really, really frustrating.
Yeah, see, I just need to get better at dodging that. I don't know how that's hitting me, to be honest.
Solid.
Jesus, man. Sheesh.
Liza P has left its mark with me. There's more to come. There's free DLC coming out soon. I believe it's free. And there's also a hint for a sequel or for a future game. I know that they've already stated that they want to continue with all this. So I'm all for it. I can't wait to see what they put out next. I will be playing anything in future that they put out. Neowitz has got my backing for now. But yes, Liza P, you've made the list.
September 30th, 1998. It's a day I'll never forget. The cop inside me died that day. And that night, Raccoon City was wiped out.
Coming in at number 5 is Resident Evil 4 Remake. I can't stress enough just how blown away I was at Capcom's ability to recapture this wonderful game in a new way. Coming off of the high of Resident Evil 2 Remake and probably the low of Resident Evil 3 Remake, there were some skeptics. I was optimistic, but I understood why we could be a little weary of this legendary game being retouched. Resident Evil 4 was a game that I played constantly in my youth. I also own it over and over on the GameCube, on PlayStation 2, on the Wii, on PlayStation 4. There's so many different consoles that I own this game on because I just love it to death. It's one of my favorite games of all time. But I'm happy to report that this game really stuck the landing. It did a great job of capturing the essence of what made Resident Evil 4 great, but preserving the original. You can enjoy the original, you can go back to it at any point, but this game is a fresh new take on a familiar story that the player can really enjoy and engage. It's still the same quest of Leon trying to find the president's daughter, Ashley, and Ashley is still accompanying you throughout some of the levels here, so yes, Ashley is back. I have learned that the hard way sometimes.
Away, beast! Oh no, Ashley! God damn it! Do I have to do that whole section again? No, dude. I hope did I. Oh my fucking god! Are you kidding me? She walked in the way, dude.
But there was so much more given in these interactions with Leon and Ashley and Lewis, and all these different characters are back, but we get more of it, and we get little inklings here and there of things that they've tweaked a bit or moved over to help appreciate certain moments a little bit more. I found myself just totally blown away by the visuals of this game. The RE engine really went all out for this one.
Anyone home?
Man, look at that. Look at the detail in the hair, the jacket, the lighting coming off of the jacket. Damn, that looks really good. I'm going to take my camera down just for a little bit so you guys can feel the immersion, right? Just the quality and the foliage and the detail and the jacket and his hair, I couldn't believe how well they crafted this version of Leon, this modernized version of Leon that we've already come to know and love from Resident Evil 2 Remake. The combat as well, we've got some extra abilities and extra things to look forward to in the combat with this remake, like the knife being quite the powerhouse in this game. You could even parry a chainsaw. It was absolutely wild to see that in the initial launch trailer. And just overall, the conversations around the release was so exciting because we even got a demo that was going to showcase the game for the players, the whole village section, that iconic section. Everywhere is everyone going bingo? Yeah, that was here, and we could play it even before launch, so expectations were really high. Capcom, being how they are with Resident Evil demos, they even went a step further. They added a mad chainsaw mode. It was a mad chainsaw mode for the demo where everything was amped up to not 11, 20. The enemies were vicious. The health for the enemies was way higher than it should be. Bullets were scarce. It was chaotic. It was so much fun, and it was a perfect way to get you ready for when Resident Evil was going to launch. I had a blast playing it.
Oh, bring it on. Watch my left, watch my left. Okay, we're good. What are you gonna do? Oh, I got a knife. Oh, shit, what? Friendly fire. Run! Break that. Gimme. Ooh. Wise people. Boom! Iframes. I never left. Boom! Iframes, let's go. Bring it on. Woo! Woo! Shake him. Oh, shit. It's foul. Oh, God. Oh, I touched it. Go. Oh, shit, there's more. Okay, hold on. Where's the shotgun?
It's really hard for me not to just continue to praise this game. As they transferred from the old game to the original, there were some changes that I was hesitant on at first, but as things went and things played out, I'm open-minded. I enjoyed how they took changes and took risks with things that we were familiar with, because like I said earlier, it preserves the original in its own way, where you can play the original and there's certain fights that are only in the original, certain moments that are only in the original, but you've got this remake that's a polished version with modernized controls. You've got Leon interacting with characters in ways we weren't really expecting, or in ways that we wanted more of. It was really fun seeing him interact with Salazar again. It was really fun seeing his back and forth with Ada. So much love was put into it. So many callbacks to fans, little moments that the fans really enjoyed, like the dog, saving the dog from the bear trap, or the water monster and shooting the water. Stuff like that is here. And there's different twists and different elements that also gets you really excited to see, oh, what happens now? What's different? When it comes to remakes, and in my opinion on how I want to gauge them, especially when putting them on a top 10 list, is, you know, you have that source material, you have something that you can work on that people love and appreciate, so it's gonna be even better, right? It just should be that easy. It's a remake, you're putting something out, and it's something that's that easy. But Resident Evil 4 Remake, as I mentioned, is a legendary game. It is a game that has touched so many people across the globe, and everyone has their stories about when they used to play it, or certain moments in the game that really freaked them out. And it was a tough call, I believe, for Resident Evil and the fandom alongside the developers to find this equilibrium of wanting to put together this project for us. This game completely captured me when it released, and I couldn't put it down. I sat there, I got the platinum trophy for it. I played it in all the hardest difficulties. I did knife-only runs. It was just perfect. It was such a wonderful, perfectly encapsulated experience of a familiar game, but in a new light. And I love it to death. I think it was a really, really great and just, I won't go as far to say perfect remake, but it is up there. It's so much fun, and I can see myself going back to play it or the original whenever I feel like it. Now, I can't say it was a perfect remake. There are things, of course, that I felt were lacking, some things that I was hoping for, and some things that were cut from the game that I wasn't expecting them to be. But in the grand scheme of it all, it's just another way of saying, here's things that are different from the original that you can still go back to enjoy, but you've got these new elements that they've introduced with Resident Evil 4 Remake that you can't really get anywhere else. I know I touched on it earlier with Leon and his voice and how he changed from 2 to 4, but I want to talk about everybody in the game and just how they really, really nailed just showcasing all these wacky enemies in Resident Evil 4, all these bosses that show up to impede Leon and his attempt to save Ashley. Just the Resident Evil team, Capcom, they did a great job. It's everything from the hello stranger, you got the merchant who's back in all of his HD glory, and he's, you know, a little different. He's not the same lines word for word from the original, but he's there and he's got his whole shtick going on. He's got little placements throughout the world that isn't just him by a lantern. Now he's got a whole shop. He's got all this thing going on. And you've got Salazar who's back, and he is just equally as frustrating and funny and quirky, and the Mr. Kennedy is back and all of that, and hearing his little maniacal laugh, it really does feel like you're revisiting this place in a new breath of fresh air, I guess, if you will.
A most warm welcome to my castle. Such a pleasure to finally make your acquaintance, Mr. Kennedy.
Who the hell are you?
I think the perfect example of how I keep saying that the original is there and the remake is there, it's like a companion piece to the remake, and the Krauser fight is a perfect example where you have this iconic cutscene where Leon and Krauser are fighting and they're using inputs to counter them their attacks in the older versions. But in the newer one, you've got the Krauser battle where it's actually all happening in real time, and it's still as dynamic, it's still as engaging as you would imagine. It's not a cutscene now, you're actually playing it, but it manages to work. It lands in that whole Krauser section. Every boss, it just feels like an event, and even though they're there for just a short amount of time, they leave their mark. They're iconic characters for this reason, and they are equally as iconic in this one. Even the big cheese, Mendez, is here, and he's got a whole different aspect to his fight now, but it's so fun. It's so good. There are some voices in the game that I wasn't a huge fan of. I think Sadler himself just didn't really feel or fulfill that perfect villain role. I think that his I don't know, just something about his direction wasn't great. Ada as well. I know a lot of people showed grievance with Ada and her performance in this game. I wasn't a huge fan of it either. I think that there is something that can be pulled there from her delivery. A lot of people said that it sounded a little bored or sounded just not as engaged. And I agree. I think that, again, it's just something about maybe the direction. Usually, most of the time, it's about direction when it comes to voice acting, at least from what I've learned. And I just think that if you want to look at it in a way where this version of Ada is more scarred over time, she's grown past the quirkiness of just being using Leon as a toy, if you will. She's more sad about her position in the world, and it's just something that you can pull from. I personally didn't like the way they took her but I can still appreciate for all of her efforts. And the Separate Ways DLC, from what I've heard, I haven't been able to play it, but from what I've heard, it's actually really good. So I definitely need to get back to that at some point, because just more of Ada and more of that world in Resident Evil 4 would be really, really good. Closing it out, Resident Evil 4 Remake is a game that I can find myself loading up and playing and having a blast with, just how I remember doing the same with the original. And as I've mentioned countless times already, both the original and the new remake, they're companions to each other. They're two different, totally enjoyable experiences, but they coexist in their own way. It's a companion piece to the original, if you will. And just think of it as playing through a game, but then watching a movie of that game. It's kind of in that same vein where you've got that familiarity, but there's different things that happen, and it's just fun. It's such a good game. It's so... They nailed all of the aspects of what I wanted when it came to the combat, when it came to going through the areas, the castle place, all the lead up to the different bosses, everything in between, the Ganados and the Los Plagas and all the zombies and monsters, everything. It's just so captivating to get through and see these different wonders of the world when it comes to zombies and Los Plagas and stuff, and see them in their full HD glory and take them down with rocket launchers or whatever, hand cannons. All the unlockables are there. There's different outfits. There's so much to look forward to. There's the mercenary thing. There's just so much. Capcom really knocked it out of the park with this one. I can't get over how Resident Evil 4 Remake is a thing. It's here. We got to play it this year, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. Again. Okay, so for my fourth favorite game this year, it's a special one. It's a game that I'm sorry, hold on. Let me get a sip of coffee real quick. Okay, that's much better. All right, so for my fourth favorite game this year, it's a special one. It's one that I've been anticipating for... I'm sorry. Let me get one more sip of coffee, yeah? Oh dear, diner. Oh no. I've somehow ended up in the dark place. How did I get here? Why am I here? That doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Only the script, the manuscript to my video. I need to finish it. See it till the end. Keep writing. Just keep writing. The dark presence is close, I can feel it. Just keep writing. Don't stop. Not until it's done. Find a way out. Break the loop. Stop the loop. I have to find Haru. Find Lexi. Find Broly Legs. What is a Broly Legs anyway? I'll get out of the dark loop. Finish this story. Finish this video. It's not a loop. It's a... As I was saying, at number 4, we have Alan Wake 2. This game, I can't stress enough just how mind-warping and creative and stunning this game is. Remedy, you made us wait 13 years, but you delivered. What a standout, just surprise hit, huh? I can't get over how it went from, oh, Alan Wake 2 got announced, wow, Alan Wake 2's almost out, oh, it's actually amazing. Wait, they're gonna perform at the Game Awards? Yeah, they actually went and took Herald of Darkness and played it at the Game Awards. I got to witness it live, and if you didn't see it yet, if you haven't seen it yet, watch it, but play the game first if you haven't played the game, because I know not many people did, or it seems that way. I'm honestly shocked myself. I wasn't the biggest fan of Alan Wake 1. I got to play the remaster this year, earlier in the year, and I just didn't really enjoy it as much as people made it out to be enjoyed as. I found the combat to be very, very dated and not too great. The visuals for a remaster were a little bit lacking. And the big standout was, of course, the story and Alan and his experience at Cauldron Lake. But overall, I wasn't really, sold on this Alan Wake story. I wasn't really sold on the game itself, so I wasn't really finding myself sitting there really wanting this Alan Wake 2 game. If I'm being totally honest with you, I probably wouldn't have even played it this year if it were not for my girlfriend, who, she's a big Alan Wake fan, and she's the one that actually bought the copy. So in my downtime, whenever she wasn't playing, I went ahead and played it, and I enjoyed it so much I stopped at chapter 1 and decided to make it a full-time stream game for me, where I played it non-stop until completion, and I did actually get the platinum trophy for this game as well, so I completely destroyed it. Alan Wake 2 is a monumental game, and it's a game that is, I'm more than sure, going to push the pedigree of modern gaming and what to expect with storytelling, and it's going to be used for examples. It's going to be pointed at when it comes to how to incorporate your characters into the story and how to incorporate combat into storytelling and all of that. There's just so many layers upon layers of unique creativity, and Sam Lake and all of the Remedy studio, they just went above and beyond with this masterpiece of a game. You found a new scene. Go to the plot board to rewrite reality in collapsed tunnel. Okay.
I had a new scene to use.
So if I use missing FBI agent here. Oh shit, look at that, now it's something different.
And with that, the dark place changed.
Oh, there's another echo thing. Line it up. Oh.
I'd love to be on this case. The code can get you anywhere with that black magic.
Is that one of the fucking deputies?
Let the day shift handle it. What happened, anyway?
Some Fed came looking for the cult, but it...
When it comes to Alan Wake 2, it is a little tricky because this is a Remedy-verse type game at this point. You do need prior knowledge of Alan Wake 1, a little bit of Alan Wake American Nightmare, which is the DLC for part 1, and you need to play the Remedy, the other Remedy game, Control, which was up for Game of the Year as well. Control is also involved, and the storytelling for Alan Wake 2 does use elements for Control. So that is a disclaimer. That might be a little bit of a blockage or gateway for people who want to enjoy Alan Wake 2. Personally, I did not play Control, so even without enjoying Control or playing it, I really had a good time with Alan Wake 2, and they do a good job of trying to explain what was happening before and where Alan is now. And also the new character, Saga Anderson, she was a standout. She was so much fun to play as, to listen to see her grasp on things, and man, the mind place and the ability of taking plot points and story and putting it into gameplay, just so good. Remedy really did something great with the mind place, and Saga Anderson being able to take things from the story and place them up against the wall in her mind. And it was a whole gameplay aspect where you would go and try to solve the mysteries. It could have been a game all on its own. That whole aspect of her solving puzzles, I want a new detective game from Remedy using just that. It was so good. Sam Lake, the director himself, is actually in this game. He is the model for Alex Casey, which is the detective of the partner to Saga, but he's also Alex Casey in the books that Alan Wake had written. Alan Wake is a writer, and so he has these mystery novels that he's written, and Alex Casey is somebody in there, and there's this whole jumbled mess where Alan's like, wow, you look like the Casey that I've always seen in my dreams, but then it's an actor playing him, and it's so I can't explain it all to you guys. Just play the game and experience it, because it's so good. I can't stop smiling thinking about how creative and unique that whole scenario was, going through the game and learning all these different things. But yes, Sam Lake as the director and putting himself into his art, into his project, and creating these characters that he's played himself all the way back when he actually, where's my copy? All the way back to Max Payne, where Sam Lake is Max Payne. If you didn't know that, that's his face. That's the director of Remedy right there. They didn't have the money for all these different aspects of models and characters and all these different people playing characters, so he ended up being the face of Max Payne, and that continues to today, where now he's Alex Casey. So we've talked about the characters, we've talked about the storytelling, the direction, all of that, and now I want to talk about the music. The music in this game is all custom made, custom built, custom orchestrated for this game. Every song is very similar to Alan Wake 1, where when you would finish a chapter, you would get this song that kind of coexists with Alan's story, or sometimes Saga's story now in Alan Wake 2. But that whole thing returns in Alan Wake 2, where at the end of a chapter you get songs that are custom-made songs for this game, and all the artists that came together to make these songs are involved with trying to make the song fit to what's happening in the story with Alan, with Saga, and then we have the old gods of Asgard back. And Herald of Darkness is my favorite song of all video game history. It's in the top 10 for me. It's so good, and the way they showcased it, like I mentioned earlier, at the Game Awards in the game. If you haven't seen that, if you've managed to avoid all that and you haven't played the game, go check it out in the game first, because it's such a unique experience. But yes, the music is great, and this is another, Resident Evil 4 was a great game. It's in my top 5, and now we got another horror game that is also in my top 5, and it was in the Game of the Year nomination, so the horror genre is kind of killing it this year, huh? So, moving past the music, I do want to talk about the combat. The combat is a huge step up from Alan Wake 1. Alan Wake 1, it was just a bunch of lumberjack people, and you would shine them and shoot them, and it wasn't as engaging as it could have been. It was kind of tedious at times, and you wanted to avoid the enemies more than anything. At least that's how I felt. But in Alan Wake 2, they take that concept of light and darkness, and using the light to help fight away the dark presence, the dark place, all of that. They have that ability there where you have a flashlight and you have to weaken them before shooting them, but it's just more dynamic. I think the lighting and the environments and just the overall atmosphere help so much with making that interaction much more survival horror rather than just tedious trying to fight these enemies in a different game. There's different weapons to choose from as you progress through the game, and like I mentioned earlier, this game introduced Saga Anderson, so she's got her own set of weapons that she uses, and then Alan's got his own weapons that he uses in the dark place. It's a very tricky thing whenever you're coming into a franchise and introducing a new playable character. Something similar that comes to mind is Bayonetta 3, where not many people were a big fan of Violet, but it's just that situation where if you want to introduce somebody who's not the main character, the name of the game is Alan Wake, and you're having somebody else playable who's a big chunk of the game, you better make it good, and they did. Saga is so awesome. She's so cool, dedicated, loving mother. She's such a wonderful protagonist and a really, really good detective, and it's so cool to see how her story is intertwined with Alan and his writing. The technical marvel that Remedy was able to display with this game is also something that shouldn't go unnoticed. There's such a seamless design with going to the mine place, and same thing with Alan where he's going in the dark place and he's going to his writer's room. There's this, I don't know if it's just I played it on PS5, but it can't be just the PS5, it's on PC as well. But you can swap from wherever you are in the map to the mine place or to the writer's room, and it's in an instant. Complete the objective. Okay. Damn, that shit's fast, dude. Look at that. It loads the mine place. I can walk around. Look at that. That is badass. That is like seamless, dude. Look at this. Boom. It's like I'm moving, and then if I press the button, I'm still moving, and look at that. It just transfers to wherever I'm at in the game. That's badass. That's really cool. You're just there, and it's so creative. It's so cool. And it just kind of puts you, it keeps you immersed. It makes you feel like the character you're playing as you're progressing through the story is doing this action alongside you. That they want to go to the mine place, they want to figure out what's happening. So we're gonna go back and get to the drawing board, if you will. There's a profiling aspect where we have characters and Saga's ability to interact with more information from them without even talking to them, and there's this whole mystical aspect to Saga that I don't want to get into too much, because even though spoilers are about in this video, I'm trying to avoid them when I can. But it's just so exciting to talk about, and every game on my list, I wish I had more people I could talk to about it constantly and be like, wow, you remember this, and this game, it's one of those that I'm so glad I was able to stream it and experience it with people, because like I didn't play Control, and I was very thankful that there was people in my chat over at twitch.tv/Vash that actually were chiming in and saying, oh, hey, this is something from Control if you wanted to know. And this is a reference to a character from there. And it was really, really nice. And it was really cool to experience the story with people who are fans of the universe, because it just pulls from different elements of what people liked of the stories. Alan Wake 2 is a game that I'm going to remember forever. Remedy, I've loved you since Max Payne and all the way through to every project you've done. I need to play Control. That's shame on me. I definitely will eventually. But Remedy, keep doing what you're doing. I hope I don't have to wait another 13 years for Alan Wake 3 or Control 2 or Quantum Break even. Quantum Break is also in there. Any of those, just throw something out there. Another Max Payne. Come on, just let Remedy continue to cook, because they are cooking and it smells delicious. Alan Wake 2 takes my 4th spot on my list. I couldn't be happier. And now let's get out of the dark place, shall we? Now, before I get into my top 3, I do want to say that these next 3 games are all amazing, and they could easily be interchangeable and take each other's spots. It's just depending on the day, but I just wanted you guys to keep that in mind. I also wanted to take this time to give some shout outs, some honorable mentions to some games that didn't quite make the list but do deserve to be seen. These are some games that I got to enjoy this year, and they're some of 2023's best. I hope you enjoy it.
Clark.
What have you got, Isaac?
Half the Ishimura's in the red. Engines, hull, the trams.
Can you handle it alone?
Fix the centrifuge. Get the fuel running.
What will happen when their paths intertwine?
What's that big round?
Let's go, TLoZ.
And what adventures await them in this new world?
I think I found the source.
Baldur's Gate 3. What more can I say about this game that hasn't already been said? Well, I'll give it a shot. Baldur's Gate 3 is a game that surpasses anything we've seen in gaming until now. It's a game that was crafted by the talented people over at Larian Studios, but now I feel like the game has surpassed that even, and it's now something that belongs to the players. Ever since I was a kid, the Dungeons & Dragons world always intrigued me. The idea of being able to let your mind wander and explore with a character of my own making, give them a backstory, a rival even, it was just, the possibilities were endless. Larian Studios brought together a magical game where all of those thoughts and feelings were now visualized and put into form. What makes Baldur's Gate 3 so special is that no matter how close you can get with making the same character with the same hair and the same class, you're never going to experience the same kind of game again. You'll never walk down the same path the same way. What starts at the beginning as a single strand branches into thousands upon thousands of outcomes. As soon as you hit that venture forth button, it really is something special. Who will you be this time? A warrior on their quest to conquer the evil of the land? A holy paladin following your oath and keeping to your morals? Or a dastardly thief in the night, using your charm and silver tongue to manipulate those around you? It's all possible. Baldur's Gate allows this. This game goes above and beyond what anyone would expect from an independent studio, having all these amazing voice actors and these characters that are modeled and animated and just full of life. There are NPCs scattered throughout the land with all their own voices and their own reason for being. Every character is fully voiced and motion captured, which is unheard of. Even while using the Speak with Animals spell in the game, you can have conversations with animals. The animals have voices too.
I'll tell you this much. I'm going to Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, because I stole his shit.
Hey, Baldur's Gate's gonna be popping.
Yeah, dude. Once we get to Baldur's Gate,
That's all I have to say besides.
Keeping it together, buddy. That's what's gonna happen.
damn. All right, I guess we'll have to meet up with this guy later.
Now, I wonder how that would work out in real life.
I've always wanted to know what you were thinking about, Haru, so now I can.
Hey man, you got some food? I could go for a burger, maybe a pizza. I like some chicken.
Of course. In all my years of gaming, I've never seen anything like it, and it just shows why this game is so special and why it's soon to become a game of legend. Alongside your created character, there are other characters in the world that you can find, and they'll accompany you on your journey. There's a parasite that's been implanted in each and every one of you, and the Mind Flayers, those are the big bads of the game, they're the ones that abducted you and placed them. This parasite is the catalyst at which all these characters that you're come to know are going to either join you or maybe not. The amazing thing about this is that you can choose of the cast of playable characters who can join and who you don't want to join. I've had countless friends tell me that they completely miss Gale, the wizard of the game, because they didn't go interact with the portal where his hand was sticking out of.
This. He knows. Yeah, we all, yes, it's very helpful to have a wizard.
A hand? Anyone?
It's that kind of form of freedom that truly highlights why this game is so unique and special. Who does that? Spending months and years developing this character, this story, putting a voice to him, and letting your players choose to just miss him. Or not even choose, they can just walk on by.
Fantasize about hacking off the hand. Yes, I'd love to.
Oh, no.
Well, I think I've actually cut his hand off.
We're gonna have to do it without the wizard.
There's so many possibilities. You can choose to engage with these characters they've crafted. Gale and Will and Karlach and all these other ones that show up throughout your journey. You can choose to befriend them. You can just make ends meet with them, or you can straight up kill them. Now, of course, every action has a reaction, and certain characters you abandon or you might do wrong by them, they might come back later in the game.
Enough gawking. Get me down.
Leave her there.
Say
please.
Dude.
Never.
All right, leave her there.
Yeah,
Fuck
leave her
that
there.
bitch. Yeah, fuck that bitch.
You can stay there, bitch.
I could go on and on about all these wonderful characters, but I just want to highlight my favorites real quick. My main girl, Karlach, she's such a gem. She's such a wonderful spirit, she's full of life, and when you first see her, you might not expect that.
Me. Never been better.
Her story is heartfelt, and obviously I don't want to spoil if I don't need to, but she is a wonderful character, and I really enjoyed my time in the world with her.
After we've mopped them up, we can work on evicting this parasite and take Faerun by the short hairs. Sound good? I'd hug you if it wouldn't scorch your skin off.
Astarion, of course, man, he's a standout. The charismatic and devious dude was a perfect amount of I hate you, but damn it, I love you.
Oh, darling, I'm hurt. I thought we had something special. I guess I'll spend my evenings lounging here while you do the hard work. It sounds awful,
Neil so rightfully deserved the award at the Game Awards for Best Performance because he put everything into it. All that talent, all that charisma, every line, every word, every scene, every animation. It was just so good. He's such a talented guy. And he made Astarion his own for sure.
One thing I will say, please, if that's okay, the community has reached out to so many of us at Larian and said they were seen and they were represented by this game when they lost hope, they felt isolated, they felt alone, and this game brought them together and gave them something to push through to help them all. And to you, I want to say thank you so much for seeing us. Appreciate it. You're not alone in this. None of us are. Thank you.
Astarion is an incredible character, and he is perfectly suited for Neil, and he's definitely placed his mark on gaming history of one of the greatest characters to come out. Something I've failed to mention is that this game does offer online multiplayer, and something I failed to mention is that I was fortunate enough to get 3 of my best friends to play with me through my journey. We all put together our characters and chose our classes, and we wanted to bring our chaotic nature to this chaotic world of Baldur's Gate. It's definitely an experience. The game in multiplayer is very wild. You've got everybody doing their own things. Sometimes we'd approach a situation together and we'd all figure it out. We'd talk to each other about what we wanted to do. And other times, well, my cousin Cloud, he's not the most patient man.
A squirrel?
Yeah, do your animal talking thing.
That's like a fucking real squirrel, bro. Pull it up.
Oh shit!
Hey, what the fuck?
I love it. Good.
No rabies. Kick that bitch.
Hey, what the no? Kick him.
Send it.
Oh no, you don't have enough.
I got 9. Oh my god. Give me the deuces.
Okay, yeah, we're chilling.
Why are you kicking it? That's rude.
He tried biting him. What do you mean?
To the moon.
Oh, what the fuck?
I love it. Oh my god, why the fuck did you kill it?
I gotta loot it.
It fucking went into the tree.
It's a squirrel. What do you think happens when you kick a squirrel?
I never had to, yeah, so I guess we learned something today.
The freedom that this game offers is really unmatched. We really didn't have a set goal each play session. We would all just spawn into camp and then say, okay guys, what are we doing? Did we want to save a nearby town? Did we want to talk to the next main story quest character? Or did we want to go blow up a cellar?
Weapon real quick.
Sleepy. You want to see this? Me and my fireballs.
Me and my fireballs. No, go for this guy. Yeah, there you go. Holy shit!
What the? My computer! What the? Alright, jeez.
Okay, my game crashed. Legit it crashed.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Hey, they're all dead.
Bro, his game crashed. Bro, he was...
Y'all just fucking destroyed the game, dude.
Oh my god, no way, your fucking game crashed. The meme is real.
That was an easy KO though. Me and my fireballs. Holy shit.
I've made so many special memories with this game, and I will continue to do so because I don't think I could ever see myself getting tired of it or honestly seeing everything the game has to offer. Also, if you're interested, all of my play session with my friends, I recorded all of it, and I'm going to be making supercuts of each one. The first one is on my YouTube, but if you want to watch 4 idiots play through Baldur's Gate 3, I do have our entire play series that's being worked on, and I'll be uploading them shortly. Now, with all this praise, you might be wondering why I have Baldur's Gate 3 at number 3. And the reason is Baldur's Gate 3 is a special game, and it deserves all the accolades, all the awards that it has received, but it's also a game I've played and have been playing since the early access of 2020. Now, obviously, I don't want to discredit the studio, I don't want to discredit anybody who's been working on this game for years and years and years, because they've done some amazing work. It's just for me, I've witnessed these changes, I've witnessed things that have been cut, things have been added. I've been playing Act 1 for a while now, and then a little bit of Act 2, and it's an interesting take for me because the game has been around for me, and I've been witnessing these moments for it. I've been very, very grateful to. I just knew that there was no way this game wasn't gonna top the lists of thousands of gamers across the world, and it rightfully deserves it. It's just for this particular list, there's games that also came out this year that were new experiences to me that just came out in 2023, and I wanted to highlight those even more because Baldur's Gate 3 is special and it's wonderful, and it's on this list. It's in the top 3 because it surpassed anything anybody could have imagined, and I didn't play through all of it, obviously. I was in early access, but what it did present in this new year was more than enough for it to be at this spot. As I mentioned a bit ago, this top 3 is interchangeable. They're all amazing games. And just in general, 2023 is a stacked year in gaming. So I'm just very, very grateful to have had the chance to play Baldur's Gate 3. It's so special, it's so unique, it's so remarkable, and I love it to death.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Vash here, back at it again with another guide for you guys. Hey everybody, Vash here. I wanted to make a quick video because I'm getting a lot of comments and messages. Hey everybody, Vash here again with another. Hey everybody, Vash here. I'm here with a new video for. Hey everybody, Vash here, back at it with another guide video. How's it going everybody? Vash here, back at it again with another video. This one's going to be a guide on how to.
Hey everyone, Vash here, and coming in at number 2 is BombRush Cyberfunk. As you can probably tell, I'm a huge fan of this game. And if you are unaware, Jet Set Radio Future is my favorite game of all time, so it's a match made in heaven. I really do love the Jet Set Radio series and just the charm and style that it brings. You know what's wild? If you look back on my Twitch channel through the years and years that I've been streaming, Jet Set Radio was one of the earliest clips I have. Just look at that date, January 25th, 2013. That was basically 10 years ago. Still feels like yesterday, but it's just wild to look back and think about how long I've been streaming, and just goes to show how important Jet Set Radio was, where it was my first thing that I wanted to put out. Knowing all of that, you might have guessed my excitement when BombRush Cyberfunk got announced. Team Reptile has a history of having this distinct style, very, very close to Jet Set Radio, especially the Lethal League games. Those always oozed of that kind of charm, and I would constantly see comments and people telling me, hey Vash, look, it's very, very close to Jet Set Radio. It's got that cool edge and spark to it. Honestly, like, everything on paper, Team Reptile was the perfect fit, but could they really nail it? Well, of course it did. We're at the number 2 spot. Of course it nailed it. They nailed it. It was perfect. It was the amazing spiritual successor we've always wanted, what I've always wanted, and I finally had something that captured that spark that Jet Set Radio Future gave me years ago. There's been attempts in the past with other games that tried to get the same kind of music, the same style, rollerblading, all of that stuff, but it never worked. For whatever reason, it just never got to that point. It's very similar to how I was talking about Lies of P earlier, where you have a lot of companies and you have these different ventures trying to capture that essence of the Dark Souls, but it didn't always hit. And this is a similar situation where we had developers putting out games that wanted to be like Jet Set Radio or wanted to capture that punk stylized era of Sega, but it just never hit. But now it did with Team Reptile's BombRush. For those who might not know, when it comes to Jet Set Radio, the soul of Jet Set Radio is the music and how it's incorporated with the style and the unique story it presents. Jet Set Radio carries one of the best soundtracks in gaming of all time, and now BombRush Cyberfunk brings that into modern day. Artists from around the globe pulling together to create this phenomenal soundtrack, showcasing their own unique take on an urban stylized world that is BombRush Cyberfunk, and it's so good, and it's on Spotify. Check it out. I've always been a fan of this cel-shaded stylized type of game. It just feels timeless to me. Games that use this art style look good today, tomorrow, forever, and BombRush is no exception. I just find the art style of this game to be so fascinating and just gorgeous, man. The vibrant colors of the world will never fade or dull. The slick style of the characters and how they move throughout the city will always be such a wonder. I often found myself just sitting in the world and just enjoying the ambience of the moment. Be in the middle of the town or by the ocean. This is the perfect example of why I love video games so much. It's a gateway. It's a way of getting lost in this world and forgetting about the troubles of ours, even just for a little bit. The movement in this game accompanies all of that so perfectly. You take everything we've talked about so far, the music, the style, all of that, and then you add skateboards and rollerblades and bicycles. Come on, man. That's just a recipe for a good time. For now, let's forget the story, forget the combat, the missions, the objective, all of that. It's just you, your gear of choice, and this playground built for you. The trick system is intact here as well, similar to in Jet Set, where any rail or ramp could help extend your momentum and extend your combos. Gliding through the city can be smooth or challenging depending on whatever your goal you give yourself. You can even hop off of your gear and walk around if you'd like. Movement is something Team Reptile really needed to get right because, to be honest, the length of the game isn't really the highest selling point. To me personally, the satisfaction is the enjoyment you get from the ability of finding the right groove and path through the city and its areas. Boost jumping at the right time, making it from one rail to the other, hitting tags as you progress, and without missing a beat. It's hard to explain why it's so fun. I wish I could tell you, but it's like breathing. It's like I don't do breathing. Like breathing just happens, you know? The story's pretty good for what it's worth, and there's lots of twists and turns. The tutorial kicks off all the craziness, and it's really hard not to lose your head. Your job essentially as Red is to go out and find out more about your past while aiding the BombRush crew with reaching all city with your skills. Heading out to different areas of this place called New Amsterdam, you can tag different spots, interact with rival crews, and what's really cool about the graffiti in this game is every art piece has its own pattern. So if you find certain unlockable art pieces throughout the game from doing missions or just exploring, you can memorize the patterns, and then that could be your staple. You can choose which ones you like the most, and there's some really nice work in this game. Anyway, I feel like I'm rambling now. There's still so much to talk about, like the combat and the unlockable colors for the characters and unlocking characters, even the online mod that the community made to make multiplayer a thing. It's just fun, man. It's just so much fun. It's just what I needed after such a long wait of the last Jet Set Radio, and now at the Game Awards, we actually got an announcement of a new Jet Set Radio, and you can't even begin to understand my excitement. I'm gonna show you a clip right here. Headphone warning.
Of course I did.
Jet Set. Jet Set.
Jet Set? That'd be insane. Okay.
Dreamcast 2.
Shinobi.
There you go.
Oh shit! Let's go!
God, it is Jet Set
Holy
Radio.
shit!
Oh
It's fucking Jet Set! Oh my god! Oh my god, a new Jet Set Radio is coming out. I can't hold my happiness and my content. But with all that aside, I still want to thank Team Reptile so much. Thank you for putting out this beautiful piece of art, and thank you for making Sega wake the hell up. BombRush Cyberfunk really brought me back to my roots, like my beginnings online and my content that I put out, and on my YouTube channel it blew up with all these videos. I was so passionate about this game, and I was putting out guides and putting out just tutorials for BombRush, and I got so much overwhelming feedback and support, and people saying that they liked what I was doing. So I've just been so motivated. I can't thank Team Reptile enough for all of what they've given me, and they don't even know it. But yes, I will be here day one when the Jet Set Radio reboot does come out. I will play the hell out of that game. I will make guides and do all these videos for it because I love this franchise to death. This style of game is so unique and so special. It's just so freeing, and it lets me just get lost. It lets me just enjoy the game and just unplug, if that makes any sense. But that's why it's here at the number 2 spot. It is a game that speaks to me, and it's a game that I'm gonna love and love and love forever. And yes, I cannot wait for the Jet Set reboot. Please be good. In 2023, on May 12th, just 4 days after my birthday, lightning struck twice, and this legendary franchise received a sequel to one of the greatest games of all time. That game is The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. My game of the year of 2023 is The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. How could it not be? Even when I was waiting at the midnight launch line with friends and fans of the game, I knew I was sitting in a moment of gaming history. The Zelda franchise is one of the most renowned gaming properties the world over, and whenever a new game gets announced, it's clear that the entire world is watching and waiting. Breath of the Wild was a magical experience that took risks, made changes, and flipped what we knew of the Zelda formula on its head. It also returned us to some of those open-ended roots from the originals, and with Tears of the Kingdom, it took everything that we got from Breath of the Wild and pushed it past anybody's expectations. Somehow the wizards at Nintendo were able to take this outdated piece of hardware and pump out a game that's not 1 but 2 times the size and ambition of the original. My experience with Tears of the Kingdom is something that I feel like I'm going to be chasing to re-experience for years and years to come. Forgive my little upcoming ramble, because Tears of the Kingdom is going to be a little bit different than the other games that I've covered so far. I don't think I want to break down everything like a review. I kind of just want to speak from the heart when it comes to this game. It's this moment right here. It's this feeling that you get when you're playing this game. It's so hard to put into words. It's such an impossible task for me to review this game or to perfectly explain why it's so beautiful and so special to me. It's just that it could be playing in handheld mode or playing on your TV. It's just the idea of this is happening to me alone and nobody else. I'm choosing to wander this world in the way that I want to. It's something as organic as this rock falling here in the distance, and I want to explore it, but I'm interacting now with an enemy. The world is constantly changing, constantly offering something to be intrigued by. It just feels like I could be here forever. This is where I want to be. This is what I want to do. We saw this rock fall from the sky, and I wanted to go over some of the new features that this game offered over Tears of the Kingdom, such as the Ultra Hand and auto build, fuse, recall in general. This is something we're going to use on the rock that fell just now, but this mechanic alone could make an entire game. The fact that you could recall certain items' movement, and how this is happening on the Switch of all consoles, where all this is happening in real time. There's no loading, there's nothing changing, there's nothing being altered to make this happen. It's just this rock fell from the sky, and now I want to see where it came from and how high will it take me. And it looks like we found our answer. And it's up to me. I could use that as a vantage point to make it to another little quest of mine. I see a shrine out in the distance I haven't reached, so I'll be heading that way now. But it's this magical beauty, this wonderful experience that the game offers time and time again. It never stops. You play the game for hours and hours, and there's always something around the corner. There's always something that's going to get your mind wandering to want to tackle the next thing in your horizon. I now want to switch gears over to some screenshots and moments that I've saved from my journey through the game. Trying something a little different, just being a little bit even more personal with you guys about how I went through the game and things that just stood out to me. At that moment, I was like, you know what? I want to take a screenshot. I want to have a video of this moment. Now, of course, as I've mentioned, spoilers are a thing in this video, so these screenshots will have some spoilers of endgame things, but I'm going to be talking about that. If you made it this far and you don't want to get spoiled in Tears of the Kingdom, then please look away now. But simple activities like this, finding the hero's tunic from Ocarina of Time down in the depths, was such a fun moment for me. It was a callback to other games in the history of the franchise, things that mean so much to me because Ocarina of Time is one of my favorite games of all time, of course. It's a wonderful game and a legendary one. And just the idea of going down in the depths, having that be a surprise was so cool. I don't know how Nintendo did it, where they had promotional piece after promotional piece of the Sky Islands and being up in the clouds, and the depths was just such a well kept secret, because anybody who's played this game, and if you haven't, the experience and the feeling you get when you dive into one of those depths, the openings, the holes in the ground, and you see that pitch black darkness down in the core of Hyrule, it's just what? Like you think to yourself, they doubled the size of this game? No, not even doubled. At that point, it's tripled. I know the Sky Islands aren't huge, but still, you have the sky that you can explore and wander. And then you've got Hyrule, which is the same Hyrule from Breath of the Wild, but it's altered immensely. All the different areas are changed and they're different. And then now you have the depths that are offering all these different experiences and all these different pathways that you get lost in it. I found auto build within the first 10 minutes of me playing this game, because I found I was like, you know what? Let's go back to the Shrine of Resurrection and see what that's about. That was my first thing. That's the first thing I wanted to do, and it led to all of this. This clip here is an experience that I had where I was in the depths just trying to make my way through, and I found this strange pillar that was out in the darkness. And it's moments like these, little quirky moments that I captured for myself. It's a memory of my own. I show up and I just see the Yiga clan hanging out in this place, and I just nope my way out of there. I'm like, well, I'll explore that later, because I didn't know what it was. It could have been the end of a dungeon. It could have been something that was a story point that I bypassed by getting here sooner. There's the possibilities are endless. I'm not just saying it just to say it. It's true. This is something that happened to me and me alone, and it's just a funny memory that I wanted to share with you guys, because this was the way I reacted. It all is expressed through the game, organically and in a way that's just so unique. This next clip here is another little moment that's to me and me alone. I was finishing this puzzle and I'm like, okay, well, the ball's rolling down, I'll let it do its thing. And if I come over, you can just see the game has all this creativity and expression and so much of a soul that you can just see what I'm thinking, as there's no voiceover for this. It's just the gameplay, and you can tell what's happening in my brain. You can see how the amusement of the ball just taking forever to get into its spot. And this happened so much. It happened constantly. It happened throughout the entirety of the game. There was moments like this where I would just have a little laugh, have a little moment interacting with all the little toys and all the little scenarios that Nintendo and the people working on this game presented to me. Another beautiful thing about this game is stuff like this. There's a puzzle here where the fire is getting extinguished by the water that's coming down. And there's obviously better ways of going about this, but I decided, you know what? Let me walk in a circle with my little fire dragon head, and then as it's getting extinguished, I'll just recall it. And when I do the recall, it'll just make the fire start doing that, but in reverse. It'll be lighting everything in reverse. And then I went and grabbed another dragon head, and it's so many extra steps. It's not the most efficient way of doing it, but I had that freedom. If my imagination let me create this scenario, then it was able to be accomplished, and it was. All these shrines, there was a huge amount of shrines throughout the game, and they all had their own puzzles of ways of going about them, but similar in Breath of the Wild, and now in a different way with the Zonai abilities and with the Ultra Hand and all that. You have all these scenarios now. You have ways to express yourself, ways to mess with the game. Even more so, and it's just so charming. Now, this moment, this was something that is anticipated in every game that features the Master Sword. This legendary blade. It's something that everybody looks forward to. How are we going to find this Master Sword? What do we need to do to get it? Where is it going to be? Is it in a forest? Is it back in time? What's gonna happen? And the amount of storytelling that played into this blade and in this game was outstanding. It was so surreal to put the pieces together on what was going on with the Dragon Tier memories and what was it going to lead to. And as time went on and as I continued to go through the story, I was putting the pieces together myself. I was like, wait a second, there's a new dragon out in the sky. I've heard so many stories from friends and people I watch on YouTube and on all these different platforms. So many different stories of people finding this blade. I found it through the story. I found it just by wandering around. I was launching myself from one of the towers, and the dragon spawned beneath me. Everybody has their own journey on how they came across the the Master Sword, sorry. And mine was something that was maybe a bit more structured. I went through the Dragon Tiers, and after I had collected almost all of them, I basically put together what was happening here. I understood why it was here on the head of the dragon. Why was there a new golden dragon flying around in the sky? Why was this happening? And the reason why is because all the storytelling leading up to this is that it's the princess making the ultimate sacrifice for the greater good. It's such a moment that I had to capture. I wanted these screenshots to remember what I felt in that moment of getting the blade and realizing how it got to this point. Because you know from the beginning of the game the blade is broken and it's gone. We don't have it anymore. And to get it back in this state and with all the power that it's absorbed over years and years and years and thousands of years, it led to here, back into your hands. So surreal. And like I mentioned, the princess swallowing her sacred stone and becoming this dragon just off of hope and wanting to succeed, just wanting to help you in the fight way later in the present time. And she did. It's such a wonderful feeling having that happen. And then depending on your playthrough and how you are progressing, this moment happens soon after, where you get to the castle finally. We're retracing these steps of Breath of the Wild, where you find yourself back in Hyrule Castle. And this, from a Zelda storytelling point, this has been the most cinematic and the most movie quality-esque type of story beats that we've ever received. I won't go as far to say that there isn't other scenarios in others of the games that capture this same kind of feeling, but the way it's portrayed here, the way you feel when you're being presented with this reawakening of Ganon, and he's broken the seal, he's gaining his power, all of this, the final moments of the game where you lead into this army of Ganon that's being resurrected, and the sages, your friends, the champions of the world, come together at the last moment to aid you in your quest, to help you defeat this evil. It's just so wonderful to go through this game at your own pace, with your own journey, with your own time, with whatever you wanted to accomplish before getting to this point. And it just feels like everything's coming together for this big battle organically, naturally, and oh man, I just love it so much. The Ganon is such a menace in this game. He feels like he's a man on a mission. This whole sequence here where he becomes rehydrated Ganondorf and you have your bout with him. It's just everything about it. It's just what you think of when you think of Zelda. You think of Link with the Master Sword taking down Ganondorf. And that all these screenshots here, this is everything that I wanted to pull together. This sort of recollection of how I felt going through these moments. And the fight with him, the second phase, when the health bar goes further than we've ever seen it go. It goes past his name. It goes past the usual threshold. It's just so, oh man. They really, really went off with this ending. It's so wonderful.
Oh my god! Oh shit! What? It didn't stop! It didn't stop! What the fuck? Hello? Oh my god.
And just look at this. Look at this feeling, this storytelling in this screenshot alone. I think that's where the game excelled the most, was that the world and the characters in it, you could feel them. You could feel what was going through their mind, how they were experiencing their surroundings and all of that throughout the entirety of the game. This is finally what we've been leading up to. And of course, that leads into this.
Holy shit, dude. I did not expect that. Oh my god! Holy shit! Bro, if Zelda pulls up in dragon form and we start tussling in the sky, I'm gonna fucking lose my mind, bro. Dude, no way! Oh my god! This is crazy.
As you can tell, I could not believe what was happening. I had an inkling about it. Obviously, I called it as it was playing out, but just the fact that Nintendo and Alnuma decided, let's just go all out with this ending, you know, like Breath of the Wild's biggest fault was obviously the ending for that game was a bit lackluster, maybe more than a bit. I'm just being a little generous here, but now we have this where we've got Ganon taking that sacrifice for his goal. He'll do anything it takes to get to his goal. And how poetic is it for all these possibilities and all the different routes that Zelda could have taken? She decided to become that dragon and charge the Master Sword. I don't know why I keep calling it blade. Charge the Master Sword for you, and now she's here in this final bout against Ganon. And this is one of the best endings, the best set pieces for the finale of a game that I've ever witnessed in my life. It's so cinematic, it's so beautiful, it's so epic. This is it. This is the epicness of a fantasy adventure. And I'm so glad that I was able to experience this firsthand on that launch week. It's something that I'm gonna hold with me forever. These screenshots just continue to resonate with me in my mind how I felt in these moments. And as I mentioned, I'm just so grateful that I was able to just capture all of it too. If you guys ever want to see my playthrough of the game and how all of these moments played out, I have it all live on my stream. But there it is. That's how it plays out, and it's such a wonderful game. I'm sorry if I rambled too much, if I got to the point where I was just going over and over about things that are just so quite obvious, but yeah. Thank you so much. If you made it to this part of the video, I love you. Thank you so much for listening to me talk about these passions and these loves of mine that from all of 2023, these are the games that just I'm so grateful to be able to have played them. And Tears of the Kingdom, it's my number one. Obviously there's a bias. Obviously I'm a huge Zelda fan. I've got Zelda everything around me for all intents and purposes. I know that's why it's a big factor for me too, because it's a game that transcends itself into this franchise that's been with me since childhood. But I hope that I could somehow express how this game made me feel, and I hope that there's people out there who felt the same way, and we can converse about, you know, what's next, what do we expect, what do we want next, all of that. I'm always up for discussion. So again, thank you so much for watching my top 10 video for 2023. I promise next year is going to be a lot more condensed and it won't be so extreme, or maybe it will if you guys like it enough. I don't know. Whoever watches this, let me know if you liked the way I presented everything. But I hope the new year is gonna be great. It's already this is coming out after the new year has passed, so happy new year. 2023 is long gone now, and I'm looking forward to 2024 with more games, more memories to be made, and I hope I can see you in the chat with me, or just in any part of where I'm at. I hope I can be a part of your 2024. But thank you so much for watching. Take care, stay safe, stay beautiful, stay smart. Love and peace. I'll see you next time.